Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm going to lead you through about 60 minutes of Vinyasa yoga meant to help quell anxiety symptoms, as well as get you kind of in tune with your body and your breath. Though granted, that is the point of pretty much all yoga, but these poses were specifically picked for that as well. If you don't know what Vinyasa yoga is, if you don't do yoga at all, check out Vinyasa #1 for an explanation, as well as other types of yoga you can do while you learn the poses, so you don't struggle too much to keep up during Vinyasa, because this is a little bit quicker than the other types of yoga that are available on this page. So we're going to get started in a seated position. My cat will be part of this, apparently. Hi. So one of the things that anxious people hear all the time when it comes to managing their symptoms has to do with breathing. But you don't really want to wait until a panic attack is happening, especially in public, to figure out how to breathe. So we'll try a little bit here. This is far from the only breathing technique there is. There are many types. There are literally books written about these things, but we're going to start with this because it's more common and it's pretty straightforward, and it'll get you used to paying attention to your breath. However, if paying attention to your breath is something that causes you anxiety, then maybe watch me the first few times. And if those symptoms come on, then just pause, give it a second, and try to jump back in. Okay. So sitting in a way that's comfortable for you, we'll put our hands on our thighs or our knees, wherever works on a cat. And we're going to do what's called box breathing, which you've probably heard of before. If not, it means that we breathe in for 4 seconds, hold at the top for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, and hold the exhale after that. So once we're holding with our lungs full, and once we're holding with our lungs empty. Okay. If that makes you feel panicked at all, maybe try half that amount of time instead. So figure out what works for you. Okay. So sitting comfortably, you can keep your eyes open, you can close them, you can soften your gaze. Let's take a breath in for 4. Hold with your lungs full. Exhale for 4. And hold with those empty lungs for 4. Okay. I breathed out through my mouth, but it's preferable that you use your nose for both. It was just kind of hard to do it and talk at the same time. So I'm going to, now that you know what the cues are, I'm going to give you shorter cues. So in for 4. Hold. Out for 4. Hold. In. Hold. Out. And hold. Let's do a couple more rounds of that, and then we'll start to move and incorporate breathing into our movement. So in for 4. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Breathe in. Hold. Exhale. And hold. Good. Start to breathe normally. And while you're trying to ignore your breathing now and just let it go back to how it was, Let's take our right hand, place it down on the mat. Inhale and bring our left arm up and over for a side stretch, making sure to keep your knee and your hip down. It's easy to start to come up. And then let's switch sides, left hand down on the ground. Inhale, right arm over, and exhale here. Really stretch that side body all along the side of your waist, your obliques. And then come up. And let's take our feet into a diamond shape. So this is called butterfly. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've definitely seen it before. And it's just the soles of the feet together and knees are somewhat wide. We're going to be doing a little movement on the legs today, so we want to warm up the legs, of course. So you can stay here with your back straight, or if it feels okay, come forward, bending at the hips as opposed to rounding the back, and kind of crawl the hands out to a comfortable place. Every position is comfortable when a cat is rubbing their glands on you. Thank you. Walk the hands back if you were facing forward. Let's cross the knees again and go back into that stretch we started with. So right hand on the ground, inhale. Stretch the left side. See, exhale. And then switch sides with an inhale. Exhale. Come back up to center. It's very windy today in Las Vegas. So if you hear banging, that's what that sound is. It's the very loud wind hitting people's homes and trees and things. Is it okay if I sit this way? So take your legs wide, however wide is comfortable. You don't need to be, split right down the middle for this particular move. Let's take our hands up towards the ceiling, biceps by the ears. And then with an inhale, turn towards the left. Got our left hand behind us, right hand, which you can't see behind Smudge. My right hand is on my left hip. Then inhale, coming back up and twist towards the right, tenting the right fingers behind you. And then back to center for one more twist each way. Center and towards the right. We're not quite done warming up our legs, but we are going to switch to a different position. So bring the legs in. You can either slowly stand up or across the legs and roll over to tabletop and then crawl towards the hands, slowly coming up to a standing position. We'll come to the top of the mat. Since this is a vinyasa class, we're going to do some vinyasas, which just means a flow of movements. And so this will add a little bit of cardio, a little bit of extra work into what would be a lot of sitting on the mat. So let's take a deep breath in. Stretch the hands towards the sky, shoulder blades down, gaze up, and then exhale, bringing the hands towards the mat. However close you can get them is fine. And I'm going to take this necklace off because it's not going to last. It's not going to make it. Whatever. You can bend the knees a little bit, a lot here. It's up to you. And then exhale, or excuse me, inhale, and straighten the spine and the legs. Now exhale. Bend the knees, come into forward fold. While you're here, free to do some neck circles to turn your neck left, right, nod it up and down, loosen that body part up. Then bring the hands down to the mat if they're not there already, bending your knees as much as you need to, and send the feet back. I'm going to put my knees down because I don't know what's happening here. There we go. Okay, so you're welcome to keep your knees down on the ground if you need to, or if you'd like to do a little extra work, pick the knees up for plank. But either way, wherever you are, tip forward and slowly lower down onto the mat, placing the feet flat behind you. Push up for cobra. And then tuck the toes and push back for down dog. And then since this is our first down dog, I always suggest that you move around a bit, maybe do some twists from side to side, maybe pedal the feet out to get a calf stretch while you're here. You can do this at any point, but this will be the time that I recommend it the most to help warm you up. And at any point of the workout, if you've had enough of the vinyasa movements we're about to do, you can just stay here until we're done with that vinyasa. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'll continue to explain as we go. All right, so while we're here, we're going to add on a little bit. With an inhale, take the right leg up. It does not matter how high or low it is, just that you're using your quad and hamstring to pull that leg back, and then bring the leg down. Let's take the left leg and do the same thing. Again, whatever height you're at is the exact right height. And bring that foot down. And then tiptoe the feet towards the hands, coming into forward fold, but immediately straightening the legs and the spine. And then exhale back into forward fold. Maybe grab the elbows with your hands, letting the torso hang a little heavier. Maybe rocking back and forth on the feet to loosen up the hamstrings. Very gentle rocking if you do it though. And then slowly roll all the way up, standing. Okay. So our vinyasa, which we're going to flow through again, is not all of those things. Instead, let's come down into a down dog. Okay, so this is step 1 of our vinyasa. Step 2 is right leg up and down. Step 3, left leg up and down. Step 4, walk to your hands. Step 5, straighten the spine and the legs. Step 6, forward fold. And it'll be that we'll be coming back to over and over again, okay? So let's slowly roll up one more time. And then gracefully coming down into a seated position again. I have blocks with me today. You don't need them to do this workout, but you might want to utilize them, especially if there's a move where you really need the floor to be closer to the body to feel comfortable in the position. And by comfort, I don't mean as comfortable as you would be when you're taking a nap, but comfort in that you won't feel pain and you can complete the move. Okay, so we're going to go back to that straddle, and I'll give you ideas when a block might be a good idea. So whatever your straddle looks like is fine. Mine is not that wide, but with lots of practice, it got maybe a centimeter wider. So I personally am not especially flexible here, even though they gave me a yoga certification. But all we need to do in this position is, with a straight back, tiptoe the hands forward onto whatever's in front of you. Ow. Oh, and we're stretching the legs here. So that means you want to keep your back straight. Notice that I'm not curling my back or rounding it like so. I'm still sitting up straight. I'm just leaned forward. And if you can come to here and that's it, that's fine. It's not the length that you're coming out. It's the amount of stretch you feel in your legs. So if you feel a stretch, you are stretching. And it's up to you whether you want to point the toes, keep them flexed, but do choose one or the other so they're not just flopping around. And if this feels way too intense, then just bring the legs a little bit closer. Then let's come back, maybe shake the legs out briefly and get back into that V. Let's take the hands by the side in a T shape. And we're going to take our left hand and bring it towards the right leg. So if you do Pilates, this is kind of like saw. So you don't have a straddle for that. So however, if you can't reach your leg at all, that's fine. However low you can go on it is fine. I can touch my toe because I have practiced many, many times. Many, many, many times. It probably took me a year to be able to learn to touch my toes. So if you're not naturally flexible like me, it's fine. You don't need to touch your toes. I just can't, so I'm going to show off. And then slowly come up. He needs a reset. Back to T arms and head the other way. There might be one side that's easier than the other. This side is easier for me because this knee works a lot better. My right knee is pretty pointless. Come back up, hands in a T position, and then place them back on the mat. Maybe let the knees stretch, or I guess react to that stress by bending them. And then put them back into that straddle. Sitting up straight, we're gonna go forward again. And wherever you go is fine. Make sure you're bending at the hips and not bending the back. So that will give you a much better leg stretch. And then come back, sitting up straight, arms out to a T. We're gonna do that twist one more time. Left hand to the right leg or right foot. And notice my back is straight. I'm only going as far as I can with a straight back. If my legs were wider, I would not be able to get to my foot. And come back up, arms at a T, towards the left. I did cardio today, so I really need these stretches. I picked the right day to tape this. That feels great. Then come back to center and let's push the legs together, assuming there's not a cat in the way. And you can always add your blocks or books or whatever you've got today. We'll just bend over the legs together as well. Again, keep that back straight. I can reach my feet here, but I'd have to curl my back to do it. So, or I can flex my feet and do that instead. However far is fine. But if reaching for part of your leg is too much, then just hold on to the blocks because you're still stretching your legs if you do this. And roll back up. Let's get these out of the way for right now. From here, let's flip around to tabletop. Knees are hip distance apart. Hands are under the shoulders. You can try to curl your fingers into the mat. So essentially you're gripping the mat like a suction cup. Right? This will help take some of the discomfort away from your wrists that you might be feeling when we go into down dog. So tuck the toes, push back. And the reason that works is because you're displacing the weight. So you're not just putting all the weight in the heels of your hands, you're putting it on your whole hand. Even your fingers are pushing you up now. And it also, if you notice, instead of being up here, all of a sudden I can touch my feet down. So it helps take a lot of the strain off your hamstrings as well. If your feet can't touch the mat, that's fine. But it probably still made you feel a bit longer when you displace the weight. So if you remember, this is our vinyasa. So we're going to take our right foot, bring it straight up. I personally think this is one of the more uncomfortable positions or poses in yoga. It's called three-legged dog. I used to just sweat bullets when I started doing yoga when I was in this pose. It's a little easier now, but I'm not great at it.
And then bring the right leg down, send the left leg up. Bring the left leg down, walk towards the hands, straighten the spine and the legs, and then exhale into forward fold. And let's do that one more time. Hands down to the mat. If you need to bend your knees a little or a lot, please do. And step the feet back. Make sure to curl those fingers into the mat. And then with an inhale, raise the leg. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left leg up. And let's walk towards our hands. Straighten the spine and the legs. And exhale into forward fold. Good. I'm going to come back down, but don't worry, we're not doing down dog yet. We're doing something harder, I think. We're going to come into plank. So the same move where you curl your fingers can also be applied to plank to make that a little bit easier. But whether that works or not, you can stay up here or you can put your knees down at any time. And I would just say if you want to work towards doing a full plank, try to do it for even just a second or two, and then let your knees come down, wait a few seconds, and come back up. But that's if you feel like doing a plank ever. If you don't feel like it, and don't do it. It's not required. Okay, so we're in whichever plank you chose. Let's take the right foot forward for runner's lunge. Okay, so my right leg is bent, the knee over the ankle, or it will be once I fix the mat. There we go. My hands are both inside that leg, and my back foot is straight. Toe is pointed the same way. Both feet are pointed the same way. This is a stretch on top of being a strength move. So if it's uncomfortable, that is normal. And send the right leg back. Let's do a chaturanga. And up into cobra. Ooh, something in my back just cracked, which I think is a good thing. And then into tabletop. And we'll do that again on the other side. So tuck the toes, come into plank. And then send the left leg forward. We have the same thing. My hands are here inside the leg. My knee is over the ankle. My right leg is mostly straight. It's as straight as I can get it. In yin yoga, I would suggest you put your forearms down on the mat, but don't worry. So that would be a good time for block, as if I said that. If you want to bring the floor closer to make this runner's lunge more accessible, you can do that too. So suddenly I'm not rounding my back nearly as much because I have these blocks under my hands. Whether you're using blocks or not, try to let the hips come down and give them a good stretch. If you have blocks, you can put them to the side Or you can keep them under your hands. We're just gonna move where your hands are. Send the leg back. Come into plank. And push back into down dog. And the right leg up. Bring it down. Left leg up. And bring it down. Walk the feet towards the hands. Straighten the legs and the spine. And then exhale into forward fold, knees bent a little or a lot. Let's do that one more time before we move on. So feet back into down dog. Send the right leg up. I have moved too close to the wall. And bring it down. Left leg up. And bring it down. Tiptoe towards the hands. Straighten the spine. Straighten the legs. And then exhale into forward fold. Okay, slowly roll up to a standing position. Ooh. Okay. All right, so from mountain pose, we want to take our right foot forward and then send our left leg back, essentially parallel to the mat. Doesn't have to be exact. And put a good bend in that front leg. By good bend, I mean you can feel your quad turn on and your knee again is over that ankle. Take your arms to a T for warrior two. Gaze over your front set of fingers. This is a good move for the hips to open them up. I'm going to be uploading a hip opener vinyasa and a hip yin yoga in the near future, sometime this week probably. So you'll want to check those out if you struggle with any hip issues, because that'll give you a good hip workout and a good hip stretch. And then from here, inhale, take the left hand onto the left thigh and bring the right arm up and over the head for reverse warrior. And then coming forward, take your right arm bent, place it on your right thigh and take the left arm overhead. This is the extended side angle. The tendency, at least for me, is to dump all my weight on this front leg because it is holding a lot. It needs to have a bit more help because of how much weight I'm putting on it. But instead of dumping your weight on it with this right arm, try to extend out of your shoulder. So there's some weight here, but I'm pushing back with this foot. So there's also at least some weight on this back leg. And my body is, I'm holding it upright. I'm not laying on my front leg. Then inhale, come back up for warrior two. Let's flow through that one more time because I know you had a lot of fun. Inhale, left hand to left thigh, right arm overhead, making sure to keep the bend in the front leg. And then come forward, right arm on the right leg, left arm over. It's really pulling the torso from your bottom half to get some of that height. So you're not dumping all your weight on that right leg. Then stand back up, keeping a bend in the front for warrior two. From here, let's windmill the arms. So both arms coming down towards the mat, and at the same time, we're turning our back foot so it's facing the front of the mat. Send your right leg back for down dog. We're gonna flow through our vinyasa here again. Your right leg is probably kind of tired, but let's send it up anyway. And let it come down and switch left leg up. When I started doing yoga, I could only get my leg to about here. And unfortunately, I didn't have a good yoga teacher at the time, and she would just come by and say, be more flexible, which is so helpful. And tiptoe your feet towards your hands. Straighten the spine and the legs. And then exhale into forward fold. But I learned to not be like that teacher. And you will figure out your flexibility on your own, or you'll just keep doing it the way you're doing it, and that's fine too. Now let's step back into down dog. Inhale, right leg up. And down. Left leg up. And down. Tiptoe towards the hands. Something weird on this mat. Straighten the spine and the legs. And exhale into forward fold. Slowly roll up for mountain. I'm going to switch directions. You can stay where you are. I just want you to be able to see me. And let's take our left foot to the top of the mat and our right foot back, essentially parallel to the back of the mat, bending the front leg. Arms to a T for warrior two, looking over the front fingers. And play around with your balance here. Okay. Again, we don't want to dump all the weight into that front leg. We want both legs to be working here. The right leg isn't just for show in this particular position. Let's take the right hand to the thigh, left arm up and over the head for reverse warrior, avoiding any urge to straighten that left leg on the way. Keep it bent. And if it feels like you're unbalanced, that is part of the point of this move. And let's spin around, left arm on the left leg, right arm up overhead. Make sure to pull your torso out from the hips so you're not dumping all your weight onto that front leg. And then let's come up, warrior two. One more time, take your right hand to your right thigh, left arm up and over for reverse warrior. Then down for side angle, extended side angle. And come back up for warrior two. All right, your left leg might be on fire by now. That was on purpose. Okay, we've got time for more. Are you lucky? We've got 10 more minutes till we're gonna properly cool down. So let's windmill the hands while turning that back foot towards the front of the mat. Send both legs back. And here we are once again in down dog. This will be our final vinyasa, but we're still going to go through it twice. Let's bring the right leg up. And let it come down. Left leg up. And let it come down. Tiptoe towards the hands. Straighten the spine and the legs. Then exhale into forward fold. Hands down on the mat. Fingers spread wide, digging into the mat to make this easier on your wrists. And inhale, send the right leg up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left leg up. And exhale, bring it down. Toe towards the hands. Inhale, straight spine, straight legs. And exhale, forward fold. Let's take the hands to the mat again, fingers curled, and step both legs back, but this time we're going into plank again. So whether that's from your knees or full on plank, again, doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. This time we're going to take our left knee and bring it up. Now, if that just made you physically sick to think about doing, try both knees down and just bring it up to where you can. We're doing a stretch here, so not everyone's going to be in the same place. So I can come up here because, again, I've practiced many, many times. There are people who could probably do that without any practice. I am not one of them. So wherever you are, let's bring that left knee towards the left elbow, or all this is on the right side. Right knee to the right elbow, and then come back. And left knee towards the left elbow, and come back. Keep doing that a couple more times on each side, wherever you can get to. And back. You also want to make sure that you, no matter what you're doing and how, you have a micro bend in your elbow so you avoid overextending. And then let's make the knees wide, toes touching, push the hips back for child's pose. And then come up into tabletop, flip around onto your glutes. We're going to end how we started. So legs into a V. If it helps you sit up straight, you can always put these blocks next to you. Get to where is comfortable for you without, and a little bit of a challenge without being painful. Okay. And walk your hands forward. Hi. Sludge. Walk Come back in and let's turn our torso towards the left. So I'm not turning my whole body. My right leg is staying exactly where it is, but I'm turning my torso this way. It's not exact. My navel is still kind of pointing this way, but it's the intention that matters here. And it might be a good idea to have some blocks on the side of your leg. But this one, I'm just going to lean forward, but bending at the hips, not at the back, to make sure we're getting a leg stretch, not a back stretch. And go as far as you can. Here, here, here. If your back is straight, then you're good. I used to try to overstretch, but I would be like this the whole time, so I wouldn't actually be stretching the body part I thought I was. Just kind of creating a hump in my back. Roll back up that leg, taking blocks with you if you like. And then turn the torso towards the right. And come forward, making sure to continue to have a straight back. Slowly come up. Let's go down the center one more time. Just walk your hands forward. Ending wherever you prefer, as long as your back is straight. Good girl. And walk your hands back. Let's push the legs together. Lunge. And you can put the blocks to the side if you have them. We're going to come onto the mat long ways, legs straight, and slowly roll back onto your back. You might want one block for this. We'll place it on our right side. Take our hands to a T and then send the left leg over to the right side. If you can't get your knee to the ground, which I can, if you can't get your knee to the ground while also keeping your left shoulder on the ground, then placing a block underneath can be helpful. Let you engage in the move wherever you happen to be flexibility wise. For a slightly more intense stretch, look over your left fingertips. And if you have a block there, go ahead and remove it. Come back to center. Placing the block on the left side of the body. And send the right leg over onto the block if you've got one. You can reach the floor. Cool. No matter where your right leg is, make sure that your right shoulder is still on the ground. And for an extra little bit of intensity, look over your right hand. Remove the block if there is one. We'll just place that to the side. Come back to center. Pull the knees in. Making sure to keep the low back on the ground. And then spread the legs long, letting them relax. Place our hands by our sides. Hands, or palms rather, towards the ceiling. We're going to go into Shavasana for 6 minutes. So as a reminder, you can keep your eyes closed or just soften your gaze. If you prefer not to close your eyes, you don't have to be in this exact position either. If there's some variation, you'd like to say cross your feet into easy pose, you can do that. And keep your hands over your head, whatever you like. This is just kind of more standard. And for Shavasana, the reason we do it is to allow our minds and bodies to integrate what it is that we did in this yoga workout today. So relax into your mat and either soften your gaze or close your eyes. And in 6 minutes, I'll alert you to time being up and for us to end the workout together. Enjoy. However you're laying, slowly start to bring your awareness back to the mat. Maybe start to move your fingers or your toes. Maybe begin to circle the hands, the wrists, the ankles. When you're ready, turn towards the side, whichever side you prefer, and push yourself up to a seated position, allowing your eyes to open if they were closed. I'm always excited to see what my hair has done at the end of these. Okay. All right, so when it comes to the box breathing, like I said, that we started with, like I said, that's just one way that you can work on getting ahead of anxiety. We'll go through it a couple more times here, just so you remember what it was that we did. But I'd recommend if it felt decent to you and it felt like it might be something that would help, I'd recommend practicing it once a day for 5 minutes. So if you do start to get sent into an anxiety attack, you're very comfortable with the procedure before it's time to use it. So as a reminder, it's 4 seconds of inhale, 4 seconds of holding with the lungs full, 4 seconds of exhaling, 4 seconds of holding with the lungs empty. So let's inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale, hold for 4, and take a nice deep breath and breathe normally. All right, there'll be one more vinyasa coming out some point in the next week or two. And like the videos keep saying, if you'd like me to tailor a class specifically for you, just shoot me an email at relationshipsolutionsllc@outlook.com, or respond in the comments here with your email and I'll send you a message. Thanks for working out with me again. I look forward to doing this next time. Have a great rest of your day.